Let's take you through our top story tonight on gig workers who are protesting and their demands to be met. They've decided to protest on the most busiest days of the year. That's Christmas and New Year. If you're planning to order food or essentials on New Year's Eve now, be prepared for disruptions. It happened on Christmas. It's going to happen again on New Year's. Delivery workers who were linked to Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon, Flipkart, Blinkit, Zepto and other platforms have now announced a nationwide strike on 31st of December. It was 2 days, 25th and 31st. Now, we see the protest includes several delivery executives, cab drivers and home service workers across multiple app platforms. The strike has been called by the Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers and the Telangana Gig and Platform Workers Union, citing that what they describe as steadily worsening working conditions. They say it's unbearable, which is why they've launched the strike. In a joint statement, the unions have said that despite being the backbone of last mile delivery, especially during festivals and peak demand, workers face long hours, falling earnings, unsafe delivery targets, arbitrary ID blocking, lack of job security and no basic welfare protections. Safety is a major flashpoint this winter. Workers are demanding that platforms suspend deliveries after 11 p.m. during dense fog, warning that nighttime targets in poor visibility are putting lives at risk. Their demands include income security aligned with minimum wages, a transparent pay structure with at least 20 rupees per kilometer for ride-hailing drivers, an 8-hour workday with overtime pay, compensation, a comprehensive social security including insurance for accidents, illness and emergencies, withdrawal of 10-minute delivery models that encourage risky driving, safer working conditions including limits on late-night deliveries in high-risk weather. Now, this follows a similar strike that happened on Christmas Day called by the Gig and Platform Service Workers Union, which disrupted services in parts of Gurgaon, Maharashtra, Delhi, Noida and many other parts of the country. On that day, we saw impact of this strike, and now yet another round will be on the 31st of December, just on the eve of New Year's. Protest also comes as the government now rolls out labour reforms, which are aimed at formally recognizing gig and platform workers. The proposed framework includes welfare funding, health and accident insurance, maternity benefits and Aadhaar-linked universal account numbers to enable social security access. While unions have welcomed the intent, they say that reforms fall short on core issues like wages, safety and job security. As India's platforms economy only growing now, we're looking at minimum wages, guarantee and safety for workers becoming the priority for them at this point. Let me quickly bring in our guests joining us for a little more insights. We have our Supreme Court advocate, KV Dhananjay, joining us on the panel. Thanks very much. We also have Selvi, who's a president, App-Based Workers Union Women's Wing of Karnataka, and also Mohammad Inayat Ali, who's a national vice president of Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers. Thanks very much, all of you. Mohammad Inayat, if you want to come in on that first, the gig workers who are now striking, 25th was the first strike and 31st will be the second. Did you get a response? What exactly was your intention while announcing this strike?
Thank you, Nabila. Sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, our workers, I thankful our workers that they have did the protest on 25th. That was very successfully and the very impact on the this one companies, because what our demands is just we need the dignity and we need the social security. Today also our worker has been met an accident because of the 10 minutes of delivery.
For 10 minutes delivery, now you have nobody who's asking. In fact, Blinkit has also stopped 10 minutes delivery. Though I actually would order from Blinkit thinking it's 9 minutes. You know, they come in 9 minutes. That's what they promise. But that's no more happening. Now they take 20 minutes to come.
It's for the customer, algorithm is different. For the rider, algorithm is different. What the company peoples do, they will pressurize the rider to deliver the item in the parcel in 10 minutes. That is the issue. If he didn't deliver, the company will penalize him, the rating will get down. That is the issue.
No, yeah, how many associations have participated for this strike?
For Karnataka, in Bangalore, the Karnataka App-based Worker Union is also participated, and then in Telangana gig and platform workers, and in Rajasthan gig and platform workers also, they are also doing this protest. In Lucknow also, almost uh, 16 unions.
Okay.
Ah,
So, was there an impact when there was a strike you announced on 25th? That was yesterday. Was there an impact? Did people struggle? Did you achieve that? What you wanted to? Did you send out a message that if we are not
no,
there, then your life is difficult? Were you able to successfully send out that message?
no. Nabila, what the thing, we are not willing to put the peoples into the struggle, but we are raising our voice.
So, what
If
was the
our
strike? You
voice,
did not work on that day, or how did you enforce that strike?
yeah, we was all the workers we are in their home.
Okay, so you didn't work that day. You
That's
refused
it.
to work that day.
We are
Okay.
all the workers are going offline.
Okay.
But one thing happened in this 25th December. The store manager and kitchen manager call our workers, and they are taking their mobiles and they are alerting the bookings for the 4 to 5 days. Per day, the our worker will be alerted at 20 bookings. How much? 20 bookings. Okay. The what the store manager is doing of the Instamart, and we have the proof, all the things. They are taking the rider mobile, and automatically they are only alerting the bookings. Per day, 20 bookings they are alerting. Advance five for the advance 5 days. If now what happened for the worker, if the rider will not take that booking, per booking 50 rupees will be penalized to the worker. This is the issue.
One thing, sir, minimum wages are not being paid to these workers?
No, where is
But
the
how is that
minimum wage?
possible? If it is under law, minimum wages exist in the law. Then how
That's
can
what that's
companies
what
not adhere to it?
they are breaking the rules. They don't have any worries if they are exercising the law. And one more thing, what they will do, they will cheating in the kilometers. While the rider accept the booking, it shows 10 kilometer. Then when he start the booking, it will show 12 to 15 kilometer. This is the algorithm the companies are playing with this.
Okay. Let me bring in.
Today,
Let me
today
bring.
also Blinkit rider has yeah, his leg has been gone.
No, it's very sad, and they've got to if they're
He
being
met an
chased
accident.
around, and
उसका
if life
पैर
has
आज
been made.
नी के नीचे से पैर टूट गया उसका वर्कर
हाँ.
का. ऐसी हालत है वर्कर की, क्या बताएं.
आप हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए. I'll bring in KV Dhananjay on this. Sir, how can companies not obey to the existing laws that clearly says that minimum wages need to be paid to laborers? Now, I'm assuming gig workers come in that category. And if the government has also recognized them in the new labor laws, it's shocking that companies are not so far not ensuring that they live up to the rules. Minimum wages not being paid, no security in that sense of insurance for their illness. There's nothing that really backs them, but they want to chase them around within 5 minutes, 10 minutes deliveries just because it's, you know, we can't deny it. It's made life so much easy for all of us. For you and I enjoyed delivery service. For something to come to my house at my doorstep is something I would not trade anything for that. I would like that service to continue, but I also would expect the government to secure these people. I feel very bad to hear that they are being chased around without basic wages and no security. What kind of you know, legal implications does this hold to these companies?
Well, first of all, there are just a handful of these companies, and we'll take up the minimum wages issue. Minimum wages have, to the best of my knowledge, have not been made applicable to the gig workers so far, because you need a specific law for that purpose, and the gig workers are a class of their own. They're not a typical employee. So the employer-employee relationship that is recognized under various laws for the purpose of workman compensation or minimum wages, this relationship falls outside of that. Now, why do we say that? We say that because of the central government Social Security Code of 2020, which expressly does not provide for minimum wages. And of course, minimum wages is essentially state subject, and not every employee, by the way, receives minimum wages. Nabil, I can tell you, teachers in a good number of states are excluded from the Minimum Wages Act of 1948. So the gig workers, there is no doubt about it, they are certainly being exploited. But I think the solution to that, in my opinion, cannot be this kind of a strike, because we do not know, what kind of negative consequences it may create in these investors. Because you look at all of these platform companies, they are what, no more than 12 or 13, and they've been growing. And a good number of them have foreign institutional investors. And incidents like this is going to hasten the deployment of AI. Dexterity 2026 is said to be the year when more robots will come onto the road, and it is a believable scenario. We've seen the progress in AI.
That I'm
So
assuming is still far away from India adopting robots on the roads, because Indians are not willing to pay that kind of money yet. But my question here, sir, is this ideally will act as human rights violation. If you're employing humans, then you got to pay for a human price.
yes, there's no doubt about it. But making a law like we have, Nabil, I want to point out, making a law is the easiest thing in the world to do. It's not difficult for the center to make a law. It's not difficult for the state to make a law. For that matter, the Karnataka legislature does have a law. It's called a Platform Workers Social Security Act of 2025, and that requires a board to be established. Look, there is no motivation to set up a board. Why is there no motivation to set up a board? I think this is a somewhat complex issue, because probably the legislatures recognize that there are just a few companies that are operating in this sector. Of course, they're very big. Now, the food delivery business revenue in India, I think for the last year, was roughly around 1,38,000 crore rupees. This is equivalent to the revenue of the whole state of Kerala, the tax revenue of the whole state of Kerala. And it's possible that the lawmakers who feel that some things could be counterproductive. Nobody can defend the practices that these companies are they are applying at this point of time. But at the same time, it's possible the lawmakers feel that laws could be counterproductive, and that might be the reason why they've not come forth with minimum wage laws, or for that matter, job security. We have laws, and the Karnataka law says that there must be a notice of 14 days and all that. But again, that's though it's notified, it does not have the operational mechanism. So I think this is a very complex issue, and it's important to address it that way. And 10-minute service, 15-minute service, this is going to it is going to endanger public safety, because if someone is put to this pressure to deliver something within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, considering the kind of traffic, unexpected traffic that we have in so many of our cities, it is going to lead to reckless driving, and public safety will be
Yeah.
endangered. And lawmakers have to take keen interest in it. And I would positively welcome a law that bars these kinds of services. Right now, what we have is companies deciding on their own to not, deploy these kinds of services. Some have, and some, came out and then withdrew it. But you never know; someone else might introduce it next month.
Yeah, no,
So
I
it's
mean,
important.
there are takers for it. That's the whole deal.
Yes,
People are,
true,
and no,
true,
the
true.
worst thing here, sir, is the rating format. If you don't go up to the fifth floor, as mandated by the customer, then your rating will go bad. They'll mark you as 1 star, or or barely, or even put out a critical comment. So that kind of kills the opportunities these workers have to earn more money, or even for that matter, they might just get blocked by the platform as well. So it's such a risky job that they're latching on to, because also at this point there are hardly any jobs available. The job market has shrunk. People are turning to any jobs that they can find, and this is one of them.
Yeah, true. Again, the bargaining position. So what the gig workers right now have is not a legally recognized bargaining position, but then just an informal bargaining position. But that bargaining position is drastically weakened by the fact that we have massive unemployment in India to begin with. And most of our advocates are unemployable. You certainly ask the employer federations, the commerce groups and all of that, and they will say that most graduates in India don't have employable skills to begin with. So I think we are in a precarious situation where it's important for gig workers also to know that they must take the management into confidence. And I fear that AI adoption, I'm seeing that, over the last 3 years, 4 years, what we've been seeing is massive AI adoption. And Nabila, you were right that AI adoption, so far as locomotion is concerned, could be a bit late in India, but you never know. You could take a terrain where there's no human, let's say Manali, or, some hill station where there's barely anybody willing to go and serve. It's possible these companies might want to introduce it there and then create public
At the end of it,
acceptance.
sir, then if they can't strike, then what is the option?
Well, they could in fact instead go meet the labor minister for the center, go labor ministers for the states, and these individuals could call upon the companies, the representatives, and then have a discussion as to what kind of policy do they have. At the end of the day, I can tell you, each one of these gig worker does have a civil right to go to a civil court and then to question the contract that they have signed with these companies, because these contracts at the end of the day are very oppressive. And they could in fact go to a civil court. What prevents them from going to a civil court? It's exorbitantly, expensive for an individual gig worker to, who's barely earning 15 or 16,000 rupees per month, to hire a lawyer and then to go to a civil court. The companies, therefore, don't have transparent policies, and it's important for our ministers to call them, and it's important for publicly embarrass these companies for the kind of oppressive policies they have in place. 15-hour, 16-hour work, what happens to them? And it's a public safety issue.
No, so
If you
sir,
let
give me
someone work
clarity
for 15
here.
hours.
You're saying that gig workers are not classified as regular employees or workers?
Yes, if you want the law to apply, then the law must say that it applies to you. Gig workers, unfortunately, are not treated as regular employees, so they don't fall under the conventional employee paradigm. No, they are kept out of it, and because they are kept out of it, you need additional laws to mandate minimum wages and then work restrictions. Why is it difficult for a labor minister, or for that matter, the labor minister in Karnataka, to come forward and then shame these companies and say, why are they insisting on 14 hours, 15 hours work? Look, if somebody is going to work for that length of time on the road, he's going to get tired. His mental faculties may not work well. He might end up, he would endanger public safety. And when you have thousands of them on the road with these kinds of oppressive policies, it's important for lawmakers to come together. But lawmakers at the end of the day seem to recognize that these companies right now are in a position to provide employment, which has become so unavailable in the public sector, for that matter, in so many other sectors. We have a massive unemployment problem, and I don't know whether I can stress that enough. We all have to be worried about the great unemployment situation we all are in. And so in that context, it's possible the lawmakers feel that, look, Zomato, I don't know who are the investors in Zomato, but it's Amazon. So many of these companies are foreign investors, and foreign investors who sit in London or in New York, look, if they feel that, it's getting more bureaucratic, it's possible they might want to dilute their stake. And should they dilute their stake, what happens is their operations, in fact, scale down, and so many more people will lose work. So this is a complexity that we are facing. So I don't think strike is the best way to deal with the kind of oppression that the gig workers feel that the companies are imposing on them. I think better methods have to be evolved.
So I think communication is not gone through, it's not been successful, which is why they've come to this last resort. Let's hear it from Selvi. Selvi, would you want to, she's part of the women's wing of the Gig Workers Association. Selvi, please go on. Have you exhausted all your other methods of communicating, trying to communicate with the government representatives? Finally, was a strike the only option? Selvi, can you hear me? Yeah.
Hi. So I think, yeah, can you
I can
aud
hear
me?
you.
Can you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Do that because we are showing to the, okay. So we want to show the government that against to the, through the companies, how we are struggling. Want to do the digital strike on offline strike because the bill has been passed in Karnataka, but as of now we are not it's not been implemented. So we are just thinking how to push the government to talk with the companies and when this will implement, because until now we are not getting that benefit, this surveillance. And about the urban company, as a beautician I'm working, the urban company says you are independent contract workers, and when they say we are independent contract workers, then how they can block the ID, terminating the ID permanently? That also the question. And also they say you cannot take off because they are not paying monthly salary based wise. Okay, we are just paying the along with the service based. So if you work, you will be paid. If you're not working, you're not paid. There are no fixed salary. The company decides that when you take off, they consider as an offline booking and block the ID. And also, if you're independent contract workers, how this and also they say the minimum wage and social security, and the women who works in the platform, they don't have dignity. They treat us as a robot. We are not a robot, we are a human. Treat us as the same way. And the urban company doesn't respect the women's at all. And also they say whenever you raise the voice, they have a threatening, like blocking the ID. They call the office in offline and
ID. Can you
tell them that
explain to us how
you
do they block ID? What do you mean by blocking ID? They basically drop you off.
terminating ID terminating ID permanently.
So basically, you
It
can't
makes
work with
like,
that platform again.
yes, yes, and you're paying as of now. You're paying when you're getting the train. You're new joining. You're paying 60K, and you work in the platform for 6 months and or 1 year until you repaying your loan payment, until you can work in the platform. Once you finish with the repaymenting your loan, then they will block the ID. Like any case, like you are due to rating, due to cancellation, due to calendar marking, morning 7 to night 8. So 13 hours during the day you're working. And also your um, these four things like calendar marking, blocking ID, product score, which urban company provides the product, that also we buy from there only. But in that case, if you don't scan the product, for that also they block your ID. And if you take off today, tomorrow they consider as a you gone for an offline booking. Because the company says you're a contract based workers, then how can they block your ID? Why can't we go do an offline booking? Because you're not paying us a fixed salary. And also they say getting the new policy, they don't partner or worker, they don't tell you we are getting a new policy, you have to take this policy. If you're willing to take this policy, they don't just discuss with the partners at all. Today they will bring the new policy, tomorrow you have to go to the offline office and get the training done with the paid money. You think nowadays there's no job in the urban company, they don't provide a job only properly. Per day you will get one order, two orders for 600 rupees, 500 rupees. In that you invest 35 to 45% commission, and buying the product, traveling and paying tax, etc. And moreover, what you will get in your pocket. And due to they also give the work. If you have loan in urban company, you get a job. If you don't have loan, that is also nothing. You will be sitting for week at home. 15 days you have no job at all at home. And also they we also need like social security. We also need
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
we
You
need
know, Mr. Dhananjay,
harassment.
this is absolutely manipulating the workforce. You know, prying into
Manipulating,
their
yes.
vulnerabilities and extracting from them, knowing that they are desperate. That's just awful. If these platforms
Yeah,
like
then
Blinkit or Zomato or Flipkart, Amazon, what they're doing is basically nothing short of human rights violation, and it's crime. In my eyes, this is criminal.
Absolutely.
They have such a huge employee workforce. The gig workforce is massive. It's not as if there are a few hundreds. They run into a few lakhs. You know,
True. And true. And the strike.
and also the migrant workers doesn't know the terms and conditions about the companies. The Kannadiga people who works and localized people who works, they raise the voice. They are just blocking, just terminating your ID if you raise your voice, because you don't have any rights to ask. The
ask.
company doesn't only discuss with us that you have to pay, like if you don't have a job, how can you pay for the new policy? Why we should pay for the new policy? Because you're launching the,
True.
we
Nabila,
are
I think it's
seeing.
important.
Yeah.
It's important for them. You know, the strike. What happens with a strike is that they lose public affection, and I don't know if this is a good idea for them to go on a strike en masse when, you know, so many people have come to depend on it. This is not strictly a necessity in any sense. People have come to depend on it, however, their delivery services. So perhaps if they could all decide to, in fact, print out a brochure and along with the delivery they would all work, and then they will also deliver their grievance brochure and request the, you know, the person, the customer, to put it up on their social media page, to, you know, take a photo of that and to put it
That
up on
would
their
lead to
social
ID
media page.
blocking. If by chance the platform gets to know that you were one of your workers, and they know which worker has done it, the ID is blocked. That's what both of
Yeah.
them have
Now
said, right? They've
the
explained
strike.
how arbitrarily IDs are blocked without
What about the
much
strike?
of a
Now that
reason.
so
They
many
block you
people
off.
are, well, they would know who didn't report. So even on that basis, they could. So they've taken a risk now by in wanting to strike. They've already taken the risk that all of the striking members, their IDs would be blocked. Similarly, if they decide now not to strike at all, but rather to deliver these brochures to the customers or clients, and you know, just imagine if a small number of them start putting it up on their social media. These are corporates. They will be scared. They will be scared
Social
of one thing.
platform about their strike. I put up on my platform about their strike. I've done news clips for the last 2 days, and there's a huge response. People have been debating on it in the comment section. They've been talking extensively about the struggles of gig workers, on how companies are responsible, what they should do, what they can do. So at least what they wanted to achieve in terms of gathering eyeballs, I think the strike has managed that. But how
No, but
far?
then
Yeah.
you also want them to defy it. You know what? If they the strike is a device by which they defy the management. Instead of a strike and lose public affection, they could instead choose to deliver as usual. But then along with the delivery, they will also give a pamphlet to each of the customers, and they've defied the managements. They have stood up together, and they've in fact, you know, it's possible that it's important for them to say in the pamphlet that we've chosen not to strike, but instead to deliver you. Along with the delivery, we also want you to know what our grievance is. Please consider putting up this grievance on a social media page. Some creative method they will have to adopt. You know, we can't go back to the 1960s and 70s. You know what happened then. You know, license Raj, and these companies will be scared of a back-breaking law by the center or by the states. So there is some leverage right now. It's not as if, you know, we already have a bad law in their eyes. You know, they are scared of a law that could break their back. So because of that, and if you start
Raising the
creating
issue,
public,
Raghav Chadha as an MP has raised the issue in the parliament. That went supremely viral, and I feel that the strike here is also with a little bit of confidence that politicians are now raising this in the parliament. So they have that confidence that there's discussion happening around it.
but
So
a strike
let's
this often, I believe there was a strike last week. Now another
yesterday.
Oh, there was a strike yesterday.
Yeah,
Another strike on the New Year's Eve.
yeah.
And you know, these are fragmented groups. You never know. Someone else might want more attention and he might say, let's, you know, strike again for Sankranti. So where is this going to go? And if they lose public affection or public, sympathy for them, they are nowhere. It's important for them to also recognize it. And then there's no point in having a strike 2 times or 3 times in a month, because then a strike is not effective at all. If the strike that you did yesterday was effective, why would you want to do another strike for the New Year's Eve?
They've basically planned 2 days, the busiest days of the year end, which is Christmas and New Year's. So that's going to really affect the platforms the most. Customers are
That's
busy
because
ordering.
of offers. Now restaurants are offering, and then if restaurants see great business from their offers, or 30% off, 40% off, they will start doing that even for Sankranti also. They, again, they will start doing it for more festivals.
Yeah. So your suggestion, apart from the pamphlets, what legal course can they take, sir?
Legal course at this point of time is to go approach the center, go approach the states, and then to shame them. Go speak to the labor minister. I want to know which labor minister in this country can positively put out 10 points of contracts, between the employers and the employee. Can they say that, okay, Uber has this policy of maximum number of hours on the road, so many days in a week and a few days of rest? I don't think any minister, labor minister in this country is bothered about it. Any one of them would be able to say what are the broad terms of engagement that these top companies have with more than 1 lakh gig workers at this point of time. I don't know about the number, but I'm just assuming it's more than 1 lakh. And it's again, it's a two-way street. We also want to make sure that the investors feel confident that the laws are going to be reasonable. But investors at the end of the day are all in London or in New York.
And like you said, they're all, the pressure that they have on they're able to sort of have this influence with the government is also because they're giving this kind of, the jobs that they are giving, no other industry is. Right
true.
now, they are the only ones who are aiding the economy in that sense.
My suggestion to the individuals here is, please contact the New York Times, get them to write about it. These companies, if they're if they're shamed right there in their home territories, they will try to do something.
Okay, let me bring in Mohammed Inayat. Yeah.
Yeah, I will speak in Hindi. That
Yeah,
is
please go on.
comfortable. जैसे धनंजय सर ने बोला कि आपको बैठ के बात करना चाहिए कंपनियों से, एक मिनिस्टर के एक सम्मुख में। हम यूनियन रेडी हैं कि हम बात करने के लिए तैयार हैं, नेगोशिएट करने के लिए तैयार हैं, पर प्रॉब्लम यह है कि कंपनी अपने कंपाउंड में अंदर तक आने नहीं देती वर्कर्स को, बिकॉज उनको बात करना ही नहीं है। और वो चाहते हैं कि एक वेपन उनके पास है, उससे वो चाहते हैं कि वो अपनी जंग जीत लेंगे। कैसे? अभी हम सब देखिए, ये कंपनी आने से पहले हम सब इसी इंडिया में थे। We are all the self-employed persons, but what happens first? हम क्या हुए, उनसे उन कंपनी में ज्वाइन हुए तो बोले डिलीवरी पार्टनर है। नाउ दे आर ट्रीटिंग एज ए स्लेव, और एक वेपन है उनके पास। अगर आपने काम नहीं किया या आपने कुछ भी वीडियो बनाया, क्लियरली आपको कॉल आता है कि आप वीडियो डिलीट करो, वरना आप कोई भी ग्रुप ज्वाइन नहीं कर सकते, आप कुछ भी सोशल मीडिया में आप वॉइस रेज नहीं कर सकते। क्यों? क्योंकि वो क्लियरली बोलते हैं हम आपकी आईडी ब्लॉक कर देंगे, देन यू गो।
Specially used, that is expected, मगर ये बोल रहे कि कोई इनोवेटिव मेथड्स यूज करो कि आप सरकार से अगर कुछ अपॉइंटमेंट ले सकते हैं, मिल सकते हैं, ये ऐसे अवेयरनेस क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, जैसे पैम्पलेट्स अगर आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करो, लोगों, मतलब डिलीवरी स्टॉप मत करो, मगर उसके साथ साथ एक अवेयरनेस कैंपेन भी शुरू करो। आप कर सकते हो?
नबीला जी, बिल्कुल हमारा मकसद स्ट्राइक करके लोगों को परेशान करना नहीं है, पर हमारा ये है हमें सस्ता रोबोट। अब धनंजय सर ने जैसे बताया ना कि रोबोट भी आने वाले हैं इंडिया में, रोबोट आने की जरूरत नहीं है। इनको ये ह्यूमैनिटी को सस्ता रोबोट के जैसा इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं ये लोग, कि 10 मिनट में डिलीवरी कर दो, आपको मन जब चाहे तब आप किलोमीटर में चीटिंग करो, और मन जब चाहे आपका आईडी ब्लॉक कर दो।
आपने कोशिश किया सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट किसी से बात करने के लिए, यूनियन से इकट्ठे होकर?
स्टोर्स में, इनके किचन में, दे डोंट हैव एनी रेन शेल्टर्स एंड दे डोंट हैव एनी वॉशरूम्स एट ऑल फॉर लेडीज। हाउ दे विल मैनेज?
Have you tried to reach any of the authorities?
Yes, we have already reached, but the thing same. कभी जैसे कि सेंट्रल लेबर मिनिस्टर दो मीटिंग बुलाए थे हमारे साथ, मगर कभी कंबाइन एक नेगोशिएट वाला काम नहीं हुआ उनके साथ। हमारी तो यही सोच है, एम्प्लॉय एम्प्लॉयर रिलेशनशिप सही रहेगी, वहां से एम्प्लॉय एंड एम्प्लॉय बहुत खुश रहेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? कंपनी तो बात करने के लिए रेडी ही नहीं है ना।
अच्छा, आप इमीडिएट इफेक्ट से क्या डिमांड्स करते हो आप? विथ इमीडिएट इफेक्ट व्हाट इज इट दैट यू नीड फिक्स्ड?
सॉफ्ट सिंपल तीन हमारे डिमांड्स हैं।
बोलिए।
आप सब ये अनसेफ डिलीवरी वाला कॉन्सेप्ट को 10 मिनट्स वाले को हटाइए, और ये आईडी ब्लॉकिंग का धमकी मत दीजिए वर्कर्स को। अगर आईडी ब्लॉकिंग करना है तो आपके कंपनी में जितने सारे वर्कर्स हैं, आप आप सबका आईडी ब्लॉक कर दीजिए, देन वी विल डू एनीथिंग, हम कुछ भी कर लेंगे। आईडी ब्लॉक करना है तो टारगेट करके जो वॉइस रेस करता है, जो
उनका
हाईलाइट इश्यूज को हाईलाइट करता है, तो उसका आईडी ब्लॉकिंग मत कीजिए। देन वी नीड द सोशल सिक्योरिटी, वी ऑल आर द ह्यूमंस, हम इंसान हैं। हम मशीन नहीं है, हम 15 घंटे के लिए काम करेंगे, आपके लिए 20 घंटे के लिए काम करेंगे।
सोशल
रात
सिक्योरिटी
में
मतलब क्या चाहिए आपको? इंश्योरेंस?
हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस चाहिए, मेटर्निटी, लेडीज के लिए मेटर्निटी चाहिए, और फिर इनके बच्चों के लिए कुछ स्कॉलरशिप स्कीम चाहिए। अगर ये बीमार हो जाए तो इनको कौन देखेगा? देखिए, 1,000 रुपए कमाने के लिए 15 घंटा काम करता है, और इस पोल्यूशन में उसका लिवर क्या हो रहा है, उसको क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, उसके लंग्स पे कितना इफेक्ट पड़ रहा है। और एक टू व्हीलर कंटिन्यूअसली आप सोच के देखिए, 20 घंटा चलाता है, 15 घंटा चला रहा है। आपको स्क्रीनशॉट्स में चाहिए तो शेयर कर दूंगा। 12 आवर लॉग इन। और ओला उबर नम्मा यात्री एंड ऑल, ये तो क्लियरली ये पार्शियलिटी करते हैं। ओला उबर नम्मा यात्री ये फ्लीट चलाते हैं, अपनी फ्लीट, तो बुकिंग सारे पहले फ्लीट को जाएगी, बाद में यहाँ पे आएगी। इनकी एक इशू नहीं है। अगर हम लिस्ट
So
बोलते
I
चले
would
जाएं तो घंटा निकल जाएंगे इसमें, इतनी हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं।
सेल्वी?
Yeah, I would say also, I go with sir also, employee and employer relationship has to become, because ये तो they say we are partners. Partner, where we are getting the profit, only the company takes. And also where when we don't have a job, where the losing job, when we don't have job also, where is the company is paying anything? जो accident, we are facing with accident, harassment, whatever it is, company is not responsible at all. So I would say that this ID blocking is a big threatening to us. Imagine we are paying 60K to the company to get the training for 1 month, and you go live and work the job and 6 months, and again you block the ID. Again, when you come back to the platform to work, to pay again 60K and go get the training 1 month and go do your work. This is illegal. When I raised the voice about this, they blocked my ID after the law is passed, after ordinance is passed.
After the
This
law was
month,
passed,
10th, they
they
blocked.
blocked you.
Yes,
60K
December 10th, they
लेके
So
blocked my
audacious. The
ID
company,
due to I raised
the
this voice.
companies are audacious. They know that they have the strength, they have the influence, they have the power, and one-off voice
Yes.
they can
Yes,
muscle
yes,
down.
yes,
That's what they're trying.
100%.
It is not
Yes.
it is not only about Selvi, no, it is about 1,000 women workers, whoever working in platform, right? They also have facing all of this problem. Why can't we raise our voice? Then the company has to sit with the workers and speak to them, like, what is the policy, new policy? We are getting this new policy. Are you agreeing to do this? We are going to do, which way it will help you? How hard you will feel? The company doesn't discuss with us directly. They put us in the new policy, and you pay for the new policy, pay for the new product also which is launching, and pay for the commission, pay for the travel allowance,
Yeah.
and what you getting in your pocket.
We
And they
heard you.
target more people in single mother and divorcee, and how they will take care of their family. With single mother, how can she take care of her family? You tell me. This is how it's urban company is the worst case is going on. 60,000 is not for, even for the middle class family also, it's not
Yeah, it's
similar
not small
money.
amount, no doubt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not a small
Nabila ji,
amount.
one more point I have to add in this. Many in Bangalore, many female workers has took the personal loan and joined to the urban company. They have paid the 60K. EMI खत्म होने से पहले इनका आईडी को ब्लॉक कर देते हैं और इन पे फिर दबाव लाते हैं कि अपना प्रोडक्ट्स खरीदो, अपने सारी मशीन को बदला दो, मैं पेडिक्योर मैनिक्योर वाली मशीन को बदलाओ, इतना प्रेशराइज करते हैं, सुसाइड कर रहे हैं लोग,
Now
सुसाइड कर
that's
रहे हैं।
absolutely pathetic if true, and I'm really hoping that your strike yields some results. Mr. Dhananjay, this you've heard them, and I think for them the last option was only the strike. In a nutshell, if I ask you for a 20-second advice to them, what would you say legally? What next best they can do?
Well, I think they should create more public awareness, and public awareness, I think, is the great currency that we have now, and that is all they have. Outside of public awareness and public pressure, I don't think on their own they would be able to create any meaningful change at all. I think this is what I would like to say. And then the governments also recognize their limitations. Look at Book My Show that charges 15%, and the Andhra government said they will do away with it. They made a grand announcement and they couldn't do anything at all. So the governments know that these companies are already offering something that's of value. And before the governments must start to break their back with a very punishing laws, it's important for these people to get public attention and public.
Yeah.
They must get the public to their side.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. And Mohammed
Thank you.
Inayat and Selvi for joining us with those views. Let's hope your voice is heard.